let's add an extra filter to the filter for the pump. This is an abrasive 3M disc, and I used a punch to make a hole, lining up with the holes in the metal screen. And then we can tighten these zip ties like that. And I'll cut that off, and that will basically be on the outside, and this will be on the inside, so it's a pre-filter, and that should work pretty well. We'll tidy this up. Okay, so there's the pre-filter. Here's the regular filter. Okay, check that. Here it is. So here's the pre-filter. Here's the standard filter. And then these are put in this little slide area. And there it is. Regular filter, pre-filter. So that's going to help minimize the contamination going to the standard filter and give it more filtering capacity. One of the first updates is to put a seal, a foam seal, around the lid. So when this is closed, it's airtight, and the volatile solvents that we're going to use here for our parts washer won't evaporate. And it's going to reduce the smell inside of the unit. And we're going to use this Frost King rubber foam, 3/8 inch white by 5/16 thick, 10 feet long. It should cover the whole thing. So we can either put the foam here, although it's going to probably get wet. It's probably be better to put it in here. And I checked for the clearance of the lid with this basin. And we're going to put this about 1/8 of an inch away from the rim. And carefully swing it around. By taking the paper off, this becomes a lot more flexible. So we can spin it around the edge and make a really nice curve. And back here we're going to come all the way to the very end, very edge. And right along the back, just outside of the hinge. And then we'll finish up try to overlap, try to have that a really nice fit there. Hey, good. So let's take a look. Ah, hear that? Oh, that is nice. So there, that baby is sealed up, and that's going to be a really nice improvement. And this is how the whole thing looks from a distance. Nice seal. So these are some of the upgrade modifications. I've gotten a remote filter, oil filter mount, oil filter, fuel line, and some grommets to run pipe in and out to filter the fluid through the oil filter. Let's set this up. When you open up the box, you've got the frame here. You've got a couple inlets, a couple hose fittings. They're going to go here and here. In the diagram, when you order this, they appear to be brass. These are not brass. They're going to work just fine. And there are 3 screws to mount this. And then here is the coupler that you need to screw in the oil filter. These appear to be plastic, but they're not. They're metal, which is nice. And again, we'll use our Teflon tape, and again, rolling it in the same way that it's going to go on. That's good. Then we'll just thread these in, get them started. They take either a 22 millimeter wrench or a 7/8 inch wrench. I got a 22 here. Okay, we've secured both of these pipe fittings on here, and I've secured this coupler with this pipe wrench, tightening it down so it'll fit on the oil filter. Now we're going to mount it. Well, we don't want to drill a hole through the basin, so we should probably put it on one of the legs. So I had trouble marking these holes with the magic marker because there's really just not that much room. So to do this modification, we're going to go from the plastic elbow here with this adapter, with this junction of 2 threaded ends, an adapter, the larger one, and then this nipple, which will go on our tubing. So first thing we're going to do, get our Teflon tape. Get this wrapped up. Both sides of this. Also on this adapter. We're going to be able to come out of the pump and go right into a fuel line that we're going to run the solvent, the parts washer solution, into basically run it through an oil filter. And put our nipple on this. Then we'll tighten these together. Both of these are 7/8. Now, I'll try to just thread this. We've got it threaded now. We'll just snug it up until we have a really strong This is the other combination where the tubing's going to go into this and through the wall, and this will be the nipple connection for the new parts washer brush that we've got here. So the parts washer fluid will flow through this wand, and we'll be able to clean and have fluid come out through the same tubing. This is a nice modification or improvement in this system. So we've put the pump in, now we've got the connector here, and this is this fuel line that I've got. I bought fuel line because then if we're using some caustic solvents, it's not going to dissolve. And we're going to run it through these 1-inch grommets. And we'll put those right up here and we're going to drill those holes and then measure the tubing. And what we're going to use is this. It's a large step bit, and we're going to go until we reach the 1-inch scale, and then we'll be able to put our grommets in, then run our tubing. So I put a little mark here, and we'll start with a We'll do a pilot hole in each of these areas. And now we'll use our step bit. Here we go. Take the clutch out of it. One more. There we go. There's a 1-inch hole. Then our grommets are right here. Should fit into this pretty nicely. Just like that. And then we'll run our tubing through it, just like that. One simple way to deburr a hole like this in sheet metal is to take your bit that you've drilled the hole this way and run it through this way. So I run our tube through the grommet, and now we'll cut it off an appropriate length. This is a heavy-duty tubing. It's got wire inside of it. There it goes. Secure it with a hose clamp. Lubricate it a little bit. There we go. Now we'll just tighten that up. Okay, so we've got the tubing from the pump in here, through the grommet, down to the external oil filter, down here, and then from the external oil filter through this tubing back into the tank, where we're going to connect our, you can see that here, here's the tubing, we're going to connect our parts washer brush, and you can see here how we've come off of the pump out of here. So let's get this on. A little of the universal lubricant. Get that baby on there. And we'll tighten this down. This tubing clamp. Hose clamp. Now we're set. So you can see here's our pump. That connection here out to the oil filter, back in, and now into our parts washing tubing. And this should just, oh yeah, go right on, and we'll tighten this up. So now we've got this, instead of just a hose of water, this we can clean at the same time as we're irrigating our fluid, so it's really quite good. And we've got some extra tubing here that we're going to run from the drain so that we can just get some container, and when we drain it, we'll fill it through the container. It'll keep everything nice and organized and neat. So here's that drain we put in when we did the very first mod. There's a hose clamp. Just get our tube on there. Probably totally in the way, sorry. Get our tubing hose clamp on here. And we'll just keep a considerable length of this tubing so that we can drain it into a container that's, you know, on the floor. It doesn't have to be in the bin here. So we'll cut this to a long length. Okay, the final step is to install an oil filter. So we have a high flow filtro here that will fit on this. I've already got the Teflon tape on. We will put a little film of oil on the seal of this because that makes it really nice. We'll just hand tighten it, and there it is. So thank you very much for watching. This is the culmination of the modifications for the Harbor Freight 20-gallon parts washer. Again, we put a seal along this so that none of the volatile cleaning fluid would come out. We added a mobile base. When we assembled this, we put the shelf upside down so the edges are up so things will stay in place. We added an external oil filter here which will keep this fluid nice and clean, and then took off the standard pipe, that nice pipe. It's flexible just for return the fluids, and replaced it with this inline fluid brush. So this will be a really nice improvement, and all those will give this tremendous usage, versatility. Oh, and the final thing, of course, we added the extra filter in front of the filter for the pump. So again, thank you for watching. Please click subscribe. Please click like if this was a positive experience. Comments are very welcome and appreciated. As always, stay safe.